Recording has begun.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today is 106 days since I last saw my brother. Today is the 22nd of November 2023 on Wednesday. Today is a very late one. I think it's about 20 past or 9:15 today that I'm making this vlog. One of the reasons it's late today is I'm not feeling too well. I think I'm coming down with a bit of a cold. Not feeling 100%. I'm definitely not going out into the cold. As you can see, it's very cold and windy outside. And very cold and windy outside. So I'm not going outside in the cold. And I'm not feeling too well. But let's just get on with it. Today is the 106 days since the 8th of August 2023 that my brother's been taken from me by the state because I was looking to expose fraud and corruption, particularly in the judiciary that I've experienced. All the judges seem to be corrupt and bent in Bradford, and they are now trying to censor me and trying to prevent me from saying certain things. And I think this is one of the reasons why freedom of speech is so important and so fundamental in the idealized West of civil liberal democracy. It's an ideal that's worth fighting for, isn't it? To be able to express oneself. I mean, it's a constitutional right to be able to have freedom of expression, to be able to express oneself. And when people choose to censor you, and I'm sure many people who are in the content creation business are now feeling censored, particularly by big institutions like Facebook and Twitter. Well, not Twitter, but Facebook, and, particularly like YouTube. I'm just mindful that I've got a YouTube strike today because I mentioned certain key words regarding that whole V injection. I'm not going to mention it because video might get taken down as well. So my videos are starting to now becoming to take down, and I'm getting strikes for mentioning medical disinformation when the reality is all I'm doing is expressing my lived experiences to help the fellow citizenry. But you see how there's a narrative and an agenda that you cannot say certain things. You cannot give medical false information, particularly regarding the pandemic, which is still now proving to be very different. So I'm just careful of what I need to say, and this sense of censorship and cautiousness to stifle and muffle your freedom of speech is quite indicative of those people in authority and power that choose to silence you in order to perpetuate their own lies and deceptions and narrative. And so one of the things today let me just get more comfortable. So one of the things today that I've done, which is unusual, which is different, I guess, is I've been, obviously, as you know, in the court proceedings and the county court in Bradford, dealing with the judges who are looking to make me and my brother homeless. They've already kidnapped my brother, so they've achieved 50% of what they were trying to achieve. And now what they want to do is they want to achieve the other 50% by having some pretext to have me removed from the premises, so they can then take me out. Just basically an attempt to destabilize me and destabilize the family. That's what they do. That's all they're really good at doing, innit? Committing acts of tyranny and fraud and deception and corruption in order to destabilize people and families and minds, so that they can have then authority and control over you. And one of those ways to destabilize you is to cancel you. I'm sure many people, as you can appreciate, are being cancelled in the mainstream media or in the alternative media because of the views that they have. Basically, they are classifying you as dissenters and therefore looking to silence you, so you cannot say certain key words. Now, what's interesting is that many people that are being cancelled are in the mainstream public domain, namely, celebrities or social influencers that are saying views or expressing views that are contrary to the mainstream narrative and agenda. However, look at me. I'm just some guy, who's nobody. I'm not even a great social influencer. All I am is just a carer, trying to care for my family. I'm literally a Mr. Nobody, living here in Bradford, in some obscure city, in some obscure part of the world. All right, and here I am being targeted simply for speaking my truth, which just shows you how the level of control that they have in the fact that they can target anybody. Oh, my monkeys are moving. The monkeys are really moving around because of this wind. I hope they don't fall down, because this wind is crazy, isn't it? Look at the wind. It's gale force winds. Crazy. Anyway, so I was saying that, even myself are feeling this sense of, you can't say certain things, you can't do certain things. one of those, you can't say things and do things, is my interactions with the judiciary now as a litigant in person, and I've chosen to be a litigant in person for the very purpose of not layering or having things done at a distance where there are more cooks in the kitchen than need to be there. I'm on my own. I've got no solicitors or barristers. I don't think I think they're all a bunch of useless flunkers who are there to manipulate the situation and profiteer from lies and deception. So I go directly into the courtroom, try to speak to the judges directly, and they don't like that because they want to be able to hide behind the corporate veil or veneer of respectability. And so what I've done today is that for the first time I've contacted Judge Gosnell, who's the circuit judge regarding my appeals, who's dealing with my appeals, to ask him the simple question: what involvement did you have in having my brother abducted like this? Because I know for the fact that I put in an appeal on the 7th of August, within 24 hours later, and that appeal was basically saying, look, I'm going to give me 14 days and I'm going to give you a skeleton argument that fully evidences the judicial fraud that I've been subjected to. So within less than 24 hours, the police came down, the social workers came down, a social worker I've never met before, and kidnapped my brother. So I asked him the direct, simple question, and I've got an email back from the court saying, oh, you should not, it's not proper that you should be contacting the judges. What do you mean I should not be contacting the judges? Solicitors can contact the judges, barristers can contact the judges. In fact, the judges are reliant on barristers to, write up the orders for them, because they can't even be bothered writing up the orders. They want effectively a barrister to write up the order, who's then I'm going to have to pay for, because obviously the case is already preordained for me to lose. So judges are refusing to write up their own court orders and are giving the courage of the order to barristers, and not my barrister, because I don't have a barrister. They're not giving me the courage. They're giving the courage to a proclaimer's barrister. And why is the housing association have they got a barrister when it's just a solicitor will do just as fine in county court proceedings? No. The reason that they've got a barrister is because the judges need somebody to draw up the orders for them, because they can't be bothered drawing up the orders, and they give the courage to them, and that's clearly manifestly unjust. But irrespective, I got in touch with Judge Gosnell today directly by email, and I've got an email straight away saying, oh, you should not contact him, it's not proper. What do you mean it's not proper? I have a right to make allegations. Otherwise, if nobody was allowed to make allegations, and if they were offensive or criminal, then nobody would ever be brought to account. I am fully adamant and insisting that I am being subjected to judicial fraud by the buying off of the judges in order to achieve a narrative. I mean, you can even do a Google search on Shahzad Hussain, Bradford Council, railroading, educate yourself. Those key terms will bring forward an article that I wrote to the Judicial Conduct Authority back in January 2016, when I was when I was first being targeted by the judges in order to send me to prison for defrauding my own family members. They achieved that because Judge Saville had been bought off. So it's just quite coincidental. So I'm making the allegation in January 2016 that look, the judges are doing something nefarious. Subsequently, I am sent to prison, all my money's taken away from me, then my mother's been abducted and murdered, and now my brother's been taken away from me. All coincidental, don't you think? Oh, there's a clear pattern of behavior here. So it's just all lies and deceptions, isn't it? So yeah, the only thing I've done today is, which is different, is I've got in touch with the judges directly, and then I've also sent an email, and I thought, oh well, they're going to try to frame me for something. What they're desperately trying to frame me for now is some sort of contrivance of contempt of court, because that's a backdoor into getting me into prison. So they're trying to set me up to get me so that they can get me into a contempt of court situation and therefore send me to prison. That's what they were doing last time in the court of protection. They were just trying to put injunctions in place and forcing me to break those injunctions, and therefore they could send me to prison. This is how desperate they are getting. There is no laws that I'm breaking. I'm not even leaving the house, bloody hell. I'm just so scared to leave the house. I just stay at home now. I don't need to go out. I only need to go out to get some food and stay at home, because my brother's been taken. I don't even go anywhere now. As a result of staying at home, they now need to find another way to try to entrap me, and that's what all it is. It's entrapment. They're trying to entrap me into committing a crime so they can just forcibly railroad me to send me to prison, as they did last time. And it's like, they're getting quite desperate now, hence why they've kidnapped my brother and won't tell me where he is. So as a consequence of them saying, oh no, you can't speak to the judges, who are these judges? These are just people, and all people are open to fraud and corruption. Just because you become a judge, it does not make you immune from corruption and malevolence and malfeasance and committing criminality, does it? You're supposed to be not doing these things, but there is no safeguarding mechanism in place to prevent from judges from selling their services out, and as a result of which, the whole institution of justice is being brought into disrepute. And when I'm speaking up about it, me and my family are getting targeted. This is the reason that my brother's been abducted, is because I chose to speak out against the corruption, against the lies, against the deceptions, and as a result of which, I'm suffering as a consequence. I've had my right to privacy and dignity taken away. Why do you think I'm sat here speaking like this here? I would like to have privacy and live my own life without the interference of the state, but the state seems to be interfering with me and trying to create a narrative that they are doing all that they're supposed to be doing. The adult social care sector is falling apart. They can't look after the elderly. I'm doing a great job of looking after my own, and or they don't like that because that undermines their position and standing. So what they need to do is they need to now somehow denigrate me, somehow look to vilify me in order to maintain the illusion that it's a very complex matter, you need to leave it with us, we're dealing with the situation, when the reality is these are a bunch of incompetent buffoons that can't care for anybody, never mind, they can't even manage their own finances, never mind care for somebody, which is a much far more complex an issue. And as a consequence of which, they're buying off the judges. I've got in touch with the judges today, and they're saying, oh no, you must follow our policies and procedures, and your policies and procedures are designed to protect and safeguard yourself from any incrimination and exposing of your corruption, and designed to lead me down a garden path in order to do me in effectively. And that's the bottom line of the situation. So here we are, several months later. I think it's 20 months later since we've been here, and as a result of which my brother's been kidnapped, I'm being persecuted, hounded by the state. Oh wow. I think that's one of the, it just gets very stressful because there's nobody there to help or provide any, there's nobody to speak up. Everybody's part of this system that's there. They're all corrupting each other, and them covering each other's backs, and it's a level of incompetence that's beyond despair, beyond belief. So I've contacted the judge and told him, no, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong by directly contacting the judges in unsolicited emails, because I get unsolicited emails all the time from, I particularly get unsolicited contact from the councillors who come here, every so often, say every year, saying, oh, please vote for us. So that's unsolicited. I didn't ask for that. So if I'm sending an unsolicited email, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've told the police, I've told the chief head of the fraud Public Authority Fraud Organisation, and I've emailed Richie Sunak saying, look, I'm being subjected to judicial fraud, do something. Nobody's going to do anything. They're quite happy to maintain the status quo, because they've got someone in myself that they can easily target and victimize and bully and intimidate into silence while they continue these lies. Anyway, that's enough for today. It's the 22nd of November 2022, and I'm not suicidal. I won't kill myself. And if any harm comes to me, is as a direct result of the local authority, Bradford Council, plotting, planning and conspiring to bring about my downfall and ruin, because I'm looking to expose their fraud and corruption and malfeasance and incompetences in adult social care. I think I should just leave it there. Allah Hafiz.